Now that we turned on our injector, we mixed our fertilizer, we turned on the injector valves, the water comes into the section that you need, and the first thing we're going to do right away is to find a cup or to get a few cups, come over with a EC meter, an electric conductivity meter, which you can find and see how it works. Just ask your supervisor to give you a training on how this one works. And we can talk more about it in the next video as well, but it's a very simple system that is going to measure the level of solids inside of the water. What's a solid? Salt, mainly. Fertilizer is a type of salt, so when you are measuring this, you're measuring the level of fertilizer that exists in that water. Not necessarily correct, but for the purpose of this video, this is how we would understand what you're measuring here. So you can see if it's too high or too low, and etc. So we're going to open the end of that valve, the end of that line, and we're going to collect a little bit of water. And I think you can notice based on the camera from there that it's a little bit blue. So when you mix fertilizer with the water, you're going to see that the water turns blue. That means that there's fertilizer in that water, and most of our water, when it goes to the plants, are going to have fertilizer, some level of fertilizer. Rarely we are irrigating just with pure water. We just lower the amount of fertilizer, but put more consistently, okay? So in here now, you're going to measure using this device, which is an EC meter. You're gonna put in there, and you're gonna hold a little bit inside of the water, and it's going to show a number. Your supervisor is going to tell what number you're looking for, because of course it does make a difference sometimes depending on what you're looking for and depending on the plant. So this is how you measure the electric conductivity. Most of the times you're not going to be doing this every single time, but when you start mixing fertilizer for the first time in that tank, this is a good idea to always do. The other thing that you can do is what we call a catch can, is to find a spot and replace the plant with a cup and water for the period of time that you will, for example, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, then come back and see how much water did that cup have at the end of your irrigation. If all of your drips and all of your hoses are correct, the amount of water that you have inside of that cup is exactly the same amount of water that each plant should have received up to then. And then you can check, of course, remove your plants from the pot and take a look at the roots. Take a look at the soil level. If it is an alley pot, it's easy, you just remove like this. If it is a different type of pot that doesn't have the paper, remember you're gonna have to flip it around, tap it slightly, remove that pot, and look at the roots, just make sure that it is well watered. If it's a very recently transplanted, maybe you can just grab it and feel the weight of the plant. That also helps. So you can basically measure how much water that plant has just by gaining experience on lifting plants before they're watered and after they're watered, and you will see the difference. And with time, you will learn what's the weight that I'm looking for after I watered. So you can also tell when you're inspecting your plants throughout the day, which plants will need water tomorrow, which plants will need water today. Of course, that will take some time, but with practice, you will gain that experience.